Hello, everybody. Welcome to my regular podcast on Spreaker.com, and that would be a happier you leads to a healthier you, and also you minding your own business and with self-respect leads to self-love, and also on my my YouTube channel. I get on the wrong one. I'm trying to remember my YouTube channels by heart, but it's kind of hard because I don't really be on them like that. But the name of this channel is a happier and healthy recovery and healing channel. And I'm your host, Goddess Asha Mariama. And for some of y'all know me as Coach Asha Mariama. I appreciate y'all for joining me for this episode. If you guys like the commentary and you want to hear more, please go on my YouTube channel, Happier and Healthier Recovery and Healing channel. And then a happier you leads to a healthier you on Spreaker.com, as well as you minding your own business and with self-respect leads to self-love. That's also on my podcast as well. Now, with self-respect leads to self-love, I have a whole nother podcast that I'm going to do with that. And I might combine you minding your own business with those two. But we're going to see how that go. But today we're going to talk about part 2 of this episode of is what we've been taught about health and wellness correct? Now, mind you, it's not just about your external health. I don't know why everybody thinks that health and wellness is just about your external health. It's way more to it than that. And as we start doing this channel, we're going to start doing a whole bunch of different information that I'm going to be pulling up. And we're also going to be having different interviews and conversations with people about health and wellness from multiple different aspects on this channel. And then on my other channel, From Darkness to Light, is also a combination of more so about your decision making and about trauma. And it's about different things that you're going through in your life that have you in darkness. Now, when it comes to being led to the slaughter, that's more so a little bit more spiritual. So you have your health and wellness channel internally and externally. You have your channel From Darkness to Light. That's all about things that you're going through when it comes to trauma, abuse, neglect, when it comes down to situations that happen to you that when it comes to being a people pleaser, seat filler, captain save a hoe, build a bear, build a doll, those type of things. That channel is based upon that. So I will be doing more content on these channels when I get back home from vacation. But I'm still going to continue to do my podcast no matter what. Also, if you want to be a sponsor of my channel, and if you have like something you're going through, or you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can go on my email address, asha.mariama01@gmail.com. That's asha.mariama01@gmail.com. I am a certified recovery healing and recovery coach. It's all about helping people on their paths and their journeys to new and better you through self-discovery. I'm also a mental health and well-being practitioner, and I'm also going to be getting more into holistic healing. So I have some books that I'm getting ready to order that I will be showing y'all, and we will be going over some things in those books when it comes to holistic treatment. Because the one thing I'm learning is that a lot of things in the United States are not healthy. And I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about having kids, raising kids. I'm talking about everything from trauma that you go through when you were a kid, from your parents to your siblings, your family members, your friends, your romantic relationships, and even people you don't know, and even employers. So there's a lot we're going to be going through. So health and wellness is something that a lot of people will destroy more so than anything. You care more about being in relationships than you do about being healthy. You care more about what other people think than you do about the way you think about yourself. You base your whole entire existence on what other people think, how other people feel, and what other people got to say about you. You are sitting up here doing things and damaging your body in ways that you have no idea how much damage you are doing to yourself. You really don't. You have no idea what you're doing that is damaging yourself in every way, shape, form, or fashion that is basically making you sick. Being sick doesn't always have to be you go outside and you get a cold. Because there are some people that even if they go out with barely nothing on, they don't get sick. There are people that basically in the summer they get sick more than they do in the wintertime. There are people that even though they may be physically healthy, far as externally as far as the aesthetics, they look what society's standard is, but they have mental health issues, emotional, psychological, spiritual issues that they don't understand how in the world they got into these situations in the first place. So when it comes to health and wellness, your internal health is what matters more than anything in the world. And how you feel about yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you respect yourself, your freedom of choice and free will, and not letting nobody strip you of that. You not lowering yourself in order to build somebody else up. You sitting up here minding your own business instead of worrying about what everybody else got going on. You doing research and basically researching everything before you make a decision versus you basing things on your emotions. You letting your emotions cloud your judgment and make you do things that go against everything that is right to do something wrong. What you consume and what you acknowledge plays a very, very big part in everything that happens to you. So, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to do something. So, what I want people to understand is I get it. I get the fact that for a lot of y'all, you think that just because you go and get plastic surgery, that there's not no consequences and repercussions. Just because you didn't get caught doing something negative doesn't mean there's not consequences and repercussions and karma for it. A lot of people don't understand is we do so much damage to ourselves. But it's not because we do damage to ourselves, it's what we allow other people to do to us is the problem. So what I want people to understand is when it comes to these situations and when it comes to everything that we do, everything we acknowledge, everything that we consume based upon what our five senses present to us, the way our emotions, as far as how we feel about things, play a very, very, very big factor in every choice, every decision, every action, every behavior that we do, say, and think. So, if somebody says something to you, how do you think you hear it? Your ears, correct? When you see something that you don't like, it goes right to your brain and your brain reacts to it. When it comes to what comes out your mouth or what someone else says comes from this. So the power of the tongue when it comes to what you eat determines how your internal health is going to be. So what I want people to understand and correlate is this here. Everything you consume goes internally. And internally, it is dissected, it is digested, and it is consumed. And it's going to do one of three things. Either it's going to accept it, it's going to reject it, or it's going to be addicted to it. That's just it on that. Or it's going to react to it. There's four. React to it. Or it can be impacted and affected. So everything you do is going to be one of those four things. It's just a question of what. A lot of people think that it's okay to sit around and eat a bunch of food A lot of y'all go to the gym, turn around and eat something, and the calories come right back. Not understanding you're not supposed to eat after you work out. Why? Because you're putting calories right back into your body. You're putting all the calories you just worked off back in your body, which defeats the purpose. What is the point of you eating something knowing it's going to be unhealthy for you? There's just no point in that. There's no point in trying to eat something knowing it's going to be bad for you, knowing that it's not going to turn out the way you want it to. So I agree. When it comes to your health and wellness, that is something that should be the most important thing. I don't even care. Relationships should not be as important to you as your internal health. It shouldn't even be about what you look like. Because at the end of the day, there is internal damage that is done every time somebody put their hands on you. Every time somebody abuses you, you are causing internal damage. You know how somebody ends up having internal bleeding and they don't know how they ended up with internal bleeding after having a fight? Sometimes you can have internal bleeding because a cyst explodes. You can have internal bleeding because something in your liver, your kidneys can end up exploding. A gallbladder can explode. But there are signs and symptoms that something is wrong. But because you're so emotionally worried about somebody else, your health and wellness takes a back seat. And because the mind and the body are not connected, because your brain is more focused on something else than it is focused on what it should be focused on, which is your body. Because whatever mentally goes on affects you physically. So if, say, for example, somebody says something to you negatively, or they're bullying you, for example, if you're somebody that's thinking about your internal health and what's going to happen if something negative happens, then guess what? You're going to be thinking about, oh my God, if I fight this person, I'm going to have some type of damage. I may break my hand. I may have internal bleeding. I may get shot. Because what if I beat this person pulls out a gun? Then what happens? They're going to start pew-pewing everywhere. And somebody else going to get hurt. So again, if you can diffuse a situation by words, then you can. And sometimes you just can't. No matter what you do, this person is going to keep coming at you. Why? Because they want to see you break. And a lot of negative people like to play victim. That's just what they like to do. They like to turn around and get you to react so they can say how right they are about you. Like when you have people that's trying to tell your story and putting rumors out there about you. Well, Cardi B is dating Stefan Diggs, right? Now, what's even more crazy is just because the girl took down pictures of her and Stefan, people assumed they broke up. They both posted a video today of her at the gym with him yesterday. So all these people made all of these dang on assumptions about their relationship and ended up being wrong. So people gonna make assumptions. The problem is you got people that's stupid enough to believe it. You got people that want to see people miserable, lonely, bitter. They want to see people broken. They want to see people destroyed. That's just what they want. That's how they want to see you. And that's another thing that makes people unhealthy. Self-esteem, self-worth, self-value. You respecting yourself, your confidence, and you believe in yourself even when nobody else does. This is what people do. And so being healthy is more than just about going to the gym and eating right is also about how the outside world and how you interact and how you deal with it. So even though you may try your hardest to be unproblematic, that don't mean that people ain't gonna bring out the worst in you, because trust me, they are going to bring out the worst in you if you let them. Even if you tell them, I ain't got time for it, I'm not arguing with you, I'm not going there with you, they still gonna keep trying you. And so the one thing about diseases and illnesses, if you really want to go back to that come from your digestive system and your liver, your kidneys. It comes from also when you're not chewing your food properly and you got chunks of food that's stuck in your intestines, and that food can't go nowhere. It's, for example, you can drink water every day. That still don't mean you're gonna be able to go to the bathroom. Why? Because those chunks of food are not digesting in your system, which means you'd have to take, one of some Miralax. I don't know if you can see it. Miralax. So you have to take Miralax or a genetic version of it in order for you to go to the bathroom, because that's the only thing that's going to cleanse out your intestines. Or you can do a parasite cleanse or some type of cleanse. You can do it, and you can do the enemas where you put it, you drink it, and then you're going to be in the bathroom all day, but it will cleanse out your system. But with a parasite cleanse, it cleanses out bacteria, but you can only do it for 30 days. Now, what happens after 30 days after you cleanse out your system and you do all of this? What are you going to do? Eat all that stuff and put all that stuff right back in your system? So that way you have pesticides all over again. You have parasites and bacteria right back in your system. You're going to go right back to eating the way you used to eat and do the same thing, and then got to do it again 3 months later. Oh, okay. And that's the problem. It's not about the fact that we're doing things as far as, doing the things that when it comes to losing weight or being healthy, it's not even that. The problem is once you get healthy, like say, for example, I'll use me. I had a gallbladder surgery, right? And when I had the gallbladder surgery, I never went back to get checked out. I just didn't. So unfortunately, I went back as if I still had my gallbladder. And that just made things worse. So what I learned is when you lose something like a gallbladder, or you have hernias or fibroids or thyroids, or you have a hysterectomy or any type of surgery, you just can't get up and move. You need to heal unless you got to go to the bathroom. It's just like elderly people and that can't get up no more, and now somebody got to go and clean them up. But when you don't have that, you got to get up. Now, nobody's saying that you need to just lay there, but at the same time, people going all the way around the world and to go get plastic surgery, and then in 2 or 3 days trying to travel back home, and you wonder why you did, why these people are dying. Because instead of them staying somewhere for at least a good 2 weeks to heal, you trying to come back within 2 or 3 days after having this surgery versus taking 2 weeks to heal and just staying where you at for 2 weeks and then go back, or just stay there for about a month and then come back. But a lot of y'all can't do that because you got to go back to work. And that's another thing. The fact that you got to work. The fact that you got to work, that means you have no work-life balance. You have to pretty much go and request PTO to be able to go to the dentist. Like, for example, I've got to go Tuesday to go get a root pulled out, and they're going to do a full exam, and they're also going to check this with my throat to see if it's a gland issue. And if it is, then they have to give me medication that will help with it, which will be fantastic if they can finally fix this problem of mine, and I can get in the car and drive with no anxiety and be fine. So again, I have an access, which I think is somewhere. That might be what this is, but I'll know on Tuesday. But it's just like that. When you go to the dentist, they're not gonna cover you getting a deep clean. I don't know why they won't. I would think that you getting a cleaning should still be done whether it's deep cleaning or not. But they charge too much for a deep cleaning. I would think that a deep cleaning, they only gonna do one side first and then do the other side because they have to do something. And this is gonna be in a lot of pain. They don't do both sides. They do one side and you come back and you do the other side. So we're gonna see what they say. But your mouth is also something that can cause you to die. So for example, there was a woman that was having issues where the same issue I'm having, and she ended up dying because she had an asset she didn't know nothing about and never got it taken care of, and she passed away. That's why on Tuesday I'm going to get this pulled, and she told me if it get worse, they will fit me in and they'll have me come in to get it done sooner. So you don't want to play around when it comes to your mouth. And the one thing I regret was when I had Medicaid, I should have went ahead and got it done, but I didn't. I didn't do it. And a lot of us don't be understanding your mouth has a bunch of germs and bacteria no differently than what's in your stomach and what you eat. Because everything you consume as far as food and drinks and whatever else, sexually, going down your throat. So what I want people to understand is, even when it comes to sex, and some of y'all like doing oral, understand you don't know where that person has been. You don't know the last person that they've been with besides you, and yet you're going down on somebody on two parts that could be infected, because both of those body parts are no different than your mouth. No different. Because what's between your legs is right there where your stomach is. And guess what? You pee and you poop out of those. Same thing with a man. So I need you to understand that if that person ain't clean, and before y'all have sex, you're not bathing and you're not taking a bath, and you don't have no paperwork saying that person is clean, guess what? You're going to have herpes in the mouth. Yeah, that part. Herpes in the mouth. You're going to have all these different bacteria infections in the mouth. So again, the choices you make, the decisions you make, the actions you make, and the behaviors you do, all of this plays a factor. Everything you consume, everything you acknowledge is either going to be accepted, rejected, impacted, or affected in one way or another, negatively or positively. So if you're going to work out, I recommend you work out after you eat. So that way you don't eat nothing else. So then again, you might have breakfast, and then you might go work out, and then you might get a protein shake versus eating. And then lunch, you might have something light that's less than the calories you worked out. Dinner, you might eat something a little heavier, and then you might turn around and work out and go for a walk, or you might do a really strong, workout. Like some people in the morning might go for a walk after they eat, maybe about an hour, 45 minutes after they eat, they may go for a walk. And then later on in the evening, they may do a really, really extreme workout, like, carbs and stuff like that. That's when your cardio is going to matter. That's when that matters, because you're working off the calories that you ate. But if you go to the gym in the morning, turn around and go to McDonald's, even if you go get a salad, it don't matter. Those calories are coming right back on your body. It don't matter. What it's about is you working out after you eat, because see, that's one of the things that I'm learning to do. So for example, instead of me in the morning eating something first thing in the morning, I might do a protein shake and then eat some yogurt, and then I probably will work out and then go and have a protein shake, have some like yogurt or something like that, or I might have a smoothie or something like that with vegetables. So instead of me having food that's like, food I got to chew, I would just do a smoothie. I would do a ginger shot. I would do something like that. And then in the afternoon, like about 11 or 12, I'd have my first meal of the day because I would be going through my fasting. And that's another reason why. So I say if you're going to be fasting, stop eating between 6 and 8. 2 hours before you get ready to go to bed, get off your phone, and then, get some sleep. So at the end of the day, I get it. I understand. These journeys, far as health and wellness, far as your choices, decisions, action, behavior, what you consume, what you acknowledge, play a very big part of everything that you deal with. But at the same time, I will also say this. It's not an easy journey. I'm not going to lie to you and say that it is, because it ain't. It's hard. It's a lot of work that comes with this. But in the end, it's worth it when you see the results. But it's not just about losing weight or getting married or being in relationships. It's about, is the people and things, environment, all these things going to play a part in your inner peace and tranquility? Are these things going to break your self-esteem, self-worth, and self-values? Those are the things you should be questioning. Those are the things that you should be thinking about before you make these decisions. Are these decisions easy? No. Because in the end, you're going to have negative people that if you get successful, for example, or you lose the weight, that's going to always remind you of what you did 10, 20, 30 years ago. They're going to remind you of everything that you did. And that's why I say sometimes you need to take things to the grave and never mention it. My whole thing is I ain't got to bring nobody in my battles. I stand alone. But when it comes down to your health and wellness, it's all about not just a temporary, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. No, just lose the weight. Don't even say how many pounds you're going to lose. Just lose the weight. Because I noticed that when you don't really put any type of goal, you actually do it. So if you say to yourself, I just want to lose 5 pounds in 1 week. I want to start with just losing 2 pounds. Then I start losing, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, then 10 pounds, and then 20 pounds. It's not about the actual, what the end game is going to be. It's going to be about you saying, you know what? I'm just going to lose this weight. Why? Because I feel heavy. Because just like if you pick up a water bottle, this has no water in it, right? This is your body. No different than this water bottle. When you fill it up, is it not going to be heavy? Yes, it's going to be heavy. Why? Because there's water in here. But in your body, it's not just water. There's also muscle and fat. There's also your kidneys, your lungs, your heart, your digestive system, your intestines, your uterus if you are a woman. It's everything from your gallbladder, your appendix. You have other things in your body that matter, that you need to be looking out for. It's just like when you fall. Guess what? That's your first pain. And once that pain comes into your body, it ain't going nowhere. The one thing about pain is going to move from place to place to place. It's not just going to be in one place. It's going to be in multiple places. It's just like if you have a bag. This bag has nothing in it. So guess what? It's going to be light. But as soon as I take this hair and put it into this bag, it's going to be heavy. Even though it's not heavy, it's still going to be heavy. It's still going to have weight. And even though, yes, this bag itself does have weight, but when I add this hair to it, it's going to be bigger than what this bag is. It's just like with this remote. The only reason this remote is as heavy as it is because it got batteries in it, in the inside of it. Not the outside, the inside of it. But if I take these batteries out, yes, there's going to be weight, but it's still lightweight, just like this phone. This phone is heavy. But if I take off the case, it's still going to be kind of heavy, but this case is attached to this phone, which makes more weight. So your body is no different than anything like that. So in order for you to be lightweight, then you have to get rid of the weight to be lightweight. Now, don't get me wrong, we still gonna have, because again, bones and, all these other things that we have in our body, blood, water, cells, tissues. So your body's still gonna be heavy. But it's a difference between being heavy because, and even with people with muscle, they're gonna be heavy. So even though you have muscle, you're still gonna be heavy. You have people that do these, that do weight training and stuff like that, bodybuilders. They're still big up here and they still have weight, but it's muscle compared to somebody that like Lizzo and it's just fat. So when you turn it into muscle, that still don't mean you're not going to be heavy. You're still going to be heavy. It's just muscle. So it's just about turning that fat into muscle. But exercise is to keep not only your metabolism up, but to keep your muscles healthy. That way, when you get older, you won't have arthritis. That's why most people have arthritis, because they have no movement. It's just like people with chronic pain. The reason why a lot of people with chronic pain don't really move because they're always in pain. But there is a way to exercise even with chronic pain to where you're going to be good. So again, you're going to have weight. There's no way around weight. Your body's going to have weight. It's just society keeps telling you, oh, it's about what you look like. For me, I got big boobies. My boobies are the biggest thing on me. But guess what? At the end of the day, I know where most of my weight is, in my breast. And once my breast gets smaller, the weight is going to fall off. So for example, when I started losing weight naturally and started losing weight based on what I ate, I noticed that my breasts were getting smaller. And then when I work out, it's going to fall off. The weight is going to fall off. Why? Because now the little bit of weight I got now is going to be turned into muscle because I'll be working out. So turn that fat into muscle, but at the same time, I don't want to be muscular. There's a difference between turning fat into muscle and I want a six-pack, or, I want to still keep my boobies. I don't want to be where I have no boobies, but I do want to go down to at least about 36 or a 38. I'm a 44 right now. So I'm trying to get down to like a 36. But is that going to be easy? No. But it's not just about me saying, okay, I want to lose weight. Am I losing weight because I just want to be healthy? Or am I losing weight to look good? Because losing weight has nothing to do with you looking good. It's got everything to do with you being healthy. That's what it's about. No other way than that. So are these journeys easy? No, they're not. But the question is it going to be forever that you're going to be doing this? Or are you just going to be doing it because you want to fit society's standards? Even if you go get plastic surgery, that is not going to change nothing. Because in 20 years, you're going to have to take it out. And you did it for what? Nothing. When all you had to do was just change your eating habits. All you had to do is stop eating processed foods and make your own stuff. You're healthier when you make your own food. If you look at Nora Smith, for example, Nora Smith makes her own food. She makes her own bread. She makes her own everything. And you look at her. She ain't fat. That's because of her eczema, she was able to actually get the weight off. I would love to interview Nora Smith because I want to talk about that. So the people I'm bringing on my podcast, it's not about what y'all think. If I brought Cardi B on, it wouldn't be that type of conversation. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's about being healthy. And healthy is a lifestyle. Being healthy is absolutely a lifestyle. It is not about something that's a temporary fix. Whatever you did to lose the weight for the rest of your life, you're going to have to continue to do, no matter what. You just can't sit up here and say, I'm going to lose weight, lose 20 pounds, and then stop doing everything you did to lose the weight. No, you have to continue it. Now, your body can do something a lot of people don't know, and that is it can get used to something and it won't work. So, for example, let's say, for example, I have these, vitamin D and vitamin K. And these are good for bone and immune health. Okay? That's what these are good for. Okay? Let's say I took this bottle for like about 3 to 6 months. All of a sudden, it don't work no more. I would still continue to do vitamin K. I would still continue to do vitamin D. I would just do a different product. So it's not that you're not still doing the same thing you've been doing. You're just going to have to manipulate the body. So, for example, if I took my blood pressure pills and I took hydrochlorothiazide, for example, and I took them for years, my body's going to get used to it and ain't going to like it. That's why they give you a secondary one. I have a secondary one. So, if you have chronic pain, you're going to have high blood pressure anyway. And the only way to stop having blood pressure is to basically deal with the pain. For example, I have a cyst in my kidneys, for example, and I may have to have surgery to remove it because it's causing me pain. So again, you never know what things that you can do to heal yourself holistically. And I have some classes that I'm getting ready to do far as holistic, treatment and holistic healing. Because when I was going to doctors, I was not getting any answers or any explanations as to what's wrong. And I'm just now getting explanations at 51 years old. When I've been trying to get explanations since I was 30-something years old. Since 30. That should tell you something. Around 33, 34. That's when my health started to go downhill. In 2017, that's when it really got bad. Going to doctors telling me that nothing was wrong. Going to doctors telling me, oh, it's just your imagination. Maybe you need to see psychological help. And I know some of y'all have heard that. Them telling you, oh, you need to go see a psychologist or a therapist because it's all in your head. Then you go to another doctor and they're telling you, no, that ain't what's wrong. Something is wrong. So again, don't let one doctor tell you that nothing is wrong. If you know something is wrong, then you don't rest until you find out what exactly it is that is going on. I had a friend of mine. She was like a mother to me. She was a little bit older. We used to call her Big Mama. And she was half blind and half deaf. And she was one of the sweetest people you ever meet. Well, Big Mama was going to the doctor regularly, like she was supposed to. But one particular day, she got admitted to the hospital. And they told her she had cancer. She only had 12 weeks to live. She died in 2. All because she was going to the doctor constantly and passed away. Not even 2 weeks after she was in the hospital. Because she had stage 4 cancer and never knew she had it. Why? Because she was never tested for it. But if you go to Turkey or you go to these other countries, they do all of these examinations for one price. You can pay $1,000 and go get treatment and go and get a CT scan, an MRI, blood work, heart exam. They'll do everything for $1,000. Tell you everything is wrong. tell you what surgeries need to be done. If they can do it there, then they'll do it there. But I don't recommend if you have surgery overseas that you try to get on a plane. Can we just wait till you get back home and let them do it? So all I'm saying to y'all is there are a lot of people that's being misdiagnosed. There are people that have cancer, go to Africa, go get treatment, and come back cancer-free. And it will come right back. Because you're doing the same things you did to get it in the first place. Once you are free of something, you need to do everything humanly possible for it to never happen again. And that's something we need to start figuring out. How to do things without it happening again. How we heal from things and we don't keep going through the same thing like a merry-go-round, round and round and round like musical chairs. If we eliminate something, then we need to eliminate it permanently. Point blank, period. And it's going to be hard because it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of determination to do it. But if you're really serious about it, then you'll do it. So all I'm saying to y'all in conclusion to all of this is you are what you consume. You are what you acknowledge. You are whatever somebody think about you if that's what you believe. Because if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So is it easy being on these journeys where you're healthy and you don't ever want to go back to getting your heart broken? You don't ever want to go back to pain? You don't ever want to go back to being a single mother again? Then guess what? You ain't. I'm a living testament of that. I said I wasn't having no more kids and I ain't had no more. I ain't had no more. I put that in God's hands. So now whatever it is I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. Just like when I go home. I'm getting me a bread maker and having it sent to the house. I'm going to rearrange my kitchen. And I'm going to actually get some new pots and pans. Because the ones I got, some of them I'm going to throw out because I'm just getting rid of them. So yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But if you're going to be healthy and you're going to be at a place where you're healthy, then it's not just about obtaining that weight loss. It's about maintaining it for the rest of your life. Not temporarily, permanent. If you can do everything you can to eat right, do everything you can to not bring negative people into your world, if you can find different workouts, because sometimes you even got to change your workout. All you're doing is just changing things. You're doing the same thing. You're just not doing it in the same order. But either way it goes, it'll work. But internally, you may have tried different product. You may have tried different product. You may have to try food. But either way it go, you're going to have to change a couple things. But it'll work. But as far as what you eat, even though it might be boring eating the same foods, but guess what? If it's going to keep you healthy, that's what you do. It's the same thing when it comes to your peace, your quiet, and your tranquility as far as your mental health. If it ain't something that's going to help my health and wellness, I ain't messing with it. Point blank, period. I'm not messing with it. I'm not going there. So again, whatever worked for you, overall, physically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, financially, stick with it. Stick with what works for you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That don't mean you don't have to adjust it. Yeah, you may have to adjust it a little bit. You might have to tweak things a little bit. But if primarily it works, don't mess with it. Leave it alone. So that's the advice I can give you as far as, your overall health and wellness. But each part is different. Each part, the way you're going to have to go about being healthy is different. They're not the same. Because what works for you internally, as far as your physical health, may not work mentally. What works mentally may not work psychologically. What works mentally and psychologically may not work spiritually or emotionally or financially. But the mind and body got to be on the same page. If they're not on the same page, it ain't never going to work. So that being said, that's it for me for this evening. I think I've taken up enough of y'all time. So with that being said, I can't wait for the new interviews that I'm going to be doing. I cannot wait to make this page on my YouTube channel and this and all of these podcasts very successful. I cannot wait to start doing trainings and start doing webinars and seminars and having one-on-one coaching. I'm excited, but I am currently writing 2 books, and I am currently getting ready to start creating some courses because I think it's time that I'm ready to start teaching. So I'm really excited about, creating a website where I will be teaching my courses on the website. I will be doing something where I'll be doing some trainings, but the more extensive trainings will be on my website. I'm really excited about all of the stuff I'm going to be doing, so I'm very excited about it. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Without y'all, there is no me. I'll be nothing without y'all. I am so grateful to all of you that even take the time to listen to my podcast, even the people that want to be a part of my podcast. I appreciate y'all. I do. I appreciate y'all because my goal is to start interviewing people. I want to be like Sherry Shepherd. I want to be like Jay Shetty. I want to be like a few other people. I want to be able to interview people, and that's kind of my goal. So I'm excited about the website. I'm excited about everything I got going on. So with that being said, and selling jewelry, that's one thing I will be doing: selling jewelry, selling books, and starting to create products holistically that's gonna help people for our soaps, products that help for our food, cookbooks. I'm really excited about what I got going on. But now it's time to sit down and make my vision board. And I'm probably gonna show you what my vision board looks like. And I got to do something from on Canva that is my short term and long term goals. So it's gonna be more than one page, but I can't wait to do it. And I might show y'all my short and long term goal thing. So y'all will get to see it through me. So you'll get to see my journey as far as working out. When I get back home, I'm really gonna be back on it. I am gonna be walking, so I'm really excited about this new journey. I am. And I'm excited to share it with y'all. And then I have a traveling blog. Unfortunately, I was supposed to go on a trip, but it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. But I ain't going. So now I got to find another trip. So I might end up doing MSC, going on an MSC cruise. I might be doing that. I might be doing MSC. MSC is a little bit cheaper, and they leave from not too far from where I live. So we'll see. With that being said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Without y'all, there is no me again. I'd be nothing without y'all. But if you are interested, please email me. I would love to hear your letters. If you're going through something medically and you want me to try to find some information, or let's say, for example, one of my guests are on here, I will make sure I put their information as well. So you'll be able to reach out to them about any products, because for those of y'all who got chronic pain, I would definitely recommend the red light bed, the red light products. Those are definitely good for chronic pain. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Mwah. And I will see y'all later. Deuces. I can't wait to download this and let y'all see it. So, and don't forget on YouTube to like and subscribe and hit the notification button to receive notifications of my videos. And I'll see y'all guys later. Y'all might see me in a wig a little bit more often. Yeah, I mean, it's time for me to get a little bit more professional. So I'm going to get professional for y'all. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later.